Hello, my name is Dr. Jonathan Howard with another short installment of Things Doctor Said. We're going to be again discussing Dr. J. Bhattacharya, our potential future NIH director. Again, this reflects just me, not any institution to which I belong. And today we're going to be trying to answer the difficult question, which is worse? Which is more concerning, severe, and worse? Literal death or vaccine side effects? You might think that the answer to this question is obvious, but many people argued that death was not as concerning as vaccine side effects. So for our first clip, we're going to be listening to Dr. J. Bhattacharya talk about vaccine side effects. He's going to be talking about vaccine myocarditis, which he correctly pegs the rate of this at about 1 in 15,000. Maybe it's a little bit more common, maybe 1 in 10,000, depends which study you look at. But either way, it's a pretty rare event. And let's just listen to what Dr. Bhattacharya has to say about this risk.
It's really odd. When the J&J vaccine was evaluated for young women, the CDC paused it, the vaccine, because of evidence that was weaker than what we've seen here. Here we have a link for young boys that is solid. I mean, like 1 in 15,000 on that order. And in Israel, the rates were even higher of myocarditis, a serious side effect of this vaccine for that group.
Okay, so there we go. 1 in 15,000 is a serious side effect of this vaccine. What do the studies say? They all say things like this: young people recover quickly from rare myocarditis side effect of COVID-19 vaccine. I have not seen any study that says the majority of people with vaccine myocarditis had moderate or severe disease and they were in the ICU and they needed life support. I just haven't seen that. There have been rare cases of severe outcomes, but those are extremely rare from a rare side effect to begin with. And as you can see here, the second article, myocarditis risk significantly higher after COVID-19 infection versus after a COVID-19 vaccine. Some young people have died of COVID myocarditis. Some people have needed heart transplants due to COVID myocarditis. And of course, COVID's harms aren't limited to myocarditis. So which causes more myocarditis, the vaccine or the virus, isn't even the proper comparison. But the point I want to make is that Dr. Bhattacharya took this side effect very seriously. I won't fault him for that at all. And he correctly pegged the rate at about 1 in 15,000, give or take. What does Dr. Bhattacharya have to say about literal death from COVID? This is a video that he made when no one was vaccinated, October 2020, at the signing of the Great Barrington Declaration, and he is going to be asked about COVID's risk to teachers. And he's going to be talking about 40-year-old teachers. The transcription at the bottom contains a little error. It says 4-year-old teachers, but he's talking about 40-year-old teachers. And he says, as you will hear, a 1 in 500 risk of death is modest, moderate, and he completely dismisses all of COVID's non-fatal harms. Let's take a listen to how Dr. Bhattacharya talked about literal death.
I'm frightened. How dare you tell me to risk my life where I could die going to the bathroom?
We know that 4-year-old teacher from the zero problem studies, the other work, that they face a very moderate risk should they become infected and die. Somewhere on the order of 2 in 1,000. 998 of those 40-year-olds will survive should they become infected out of 1,000.
And without serious long-term health effects.
Every virus, every flu has some long-term effects, but the fraction of the population to get those is small. But it's not 100 out of the 1,000 will have those effects. It's likely much smaller from the evidence that I've seen.
There we go. 1 out of 500 40-year-old teachers dying of COVID, very moderate. A vaccine side effect, 1 in 15,000, is a very serious, very concerning side effect. We need to take this very seriously. And this is what teachers dying actually looked like. This article is from May 2020 here in New York City. We lost 30 teachers during the first 2 months or so of the pandemic, including one at my son's school, and 74 total Department of Education employees in 2 months. Obviously, I don't know that all of these people were infected at school. Probably not all of them were, but this is what it looks like when 40-year-old teachers die of COVID. And in 2019, it wasn't controversial to say that literal death from a virus is worse than a rare, mild vaccine side effect. But today, that's a very controversial position to take. And as you just heard, our future NIH director treats these rare, mild vaccine side effects as a fate worse than death from a virus. Thank you for listening.